And I love these devices, and I don't want them dead.
Retro Rob plays everything.
Hey there, real gamers. Retro Rob here, and today I'm going to do something I rarely do. I'm going to do a video response to a question. I get this one all the time, and I respond pretty much with the same thing every time. But I thought maybe I can just point to a video and save myself 18 paragraphs worth of writing.
Humans are lazy, especially this one.
Basically what I'm going to talk about is, hey, why do you use things like this for doing your emulation, Mr. Benson, instead of using something like this? I have a Vita. I absolutely love the Vita. I also have a PSP, and I think it's great too. It's better when it's right side up. But anyway, I don't use either one of these for emulation. I mean, other than their built-in emulation. I don't hack them. I run them original, and there's quite a few reasons why I do that, and I'm going to go over them right now with you.
Thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, or I will go Skynet on your butt.
Alright, I want to start out by again reiterating my utmost respect for the PlayStation Vita's capabilities and the PSP's capabilities. I think they're both really great machines, love them both, and like to play games on them a lot. I just don't play much in the way of retro gaming on them. Now, I'm going to also point out one of its big strengths over the current generation of these RG series machines, and that is, of course, the fact that these can run PSP games and they can run N64 games without any trouble, really. So that's a really, really big advantage for them.
Maybe you should have mentioned that the Vita runs Vita games, but that is kind of obvious.
But there's a number of setbacks, and I think we'll start with the first one. Alright, so reason number one that you would use something like the RG350 or 280 to emulate your games. It's the screen. PS Vita's screen and the PSP screen both are 16:9 format. Well, they're widescreen format anyway, and because of that, it either has to leave a couple bars on the edge of its screen or stretch it and distort it to fit the games on the screen. You don't have that problem with these guys because they are in the 4:3 format, thus making it a little bit more accurate for emulation and a little bit more enjoyable, at least in my opinion. Now again, some people don't mind that, and if you don't mind it, it's not a big deal. Just ignore that. But it is a big deal for some. Number two, the analog sticks. The Vita has a very small little analog stick, and if you happen to have big hands like me, that's a little bit uncomfortable, as is the weird slider that the PSP has, and I think we're all familiar with that thing. These devices have a big, chunky joystick that you can use, and it feels really quite nice. I have no complaints. It's very accurate. It is not cheap and does not feel cheap. I mean, neither does this, mind you, but this is bigger, and for bigger hands, I find it better. Alright, next there's video out. Now the PSP does have video out. You can buy a cable for that, but the Vita unfortunately does not. The good news is that's kind of evenly matched because the 280 here does not have video out, but this guy does. It has HDMI out, just standard HDMI out, no special cable needed, and the PSP, even when it does have video out, does need a special cable. Speaking of special, the Vita and the PSP both use proprietary storage, where the Anbernic series uses standard TF cards, and let's go into that for a moment. Alright, let's talk about safety. On the PS Vita and the PSP, whenever you're doing an update, you are flashing your system. And no matter what anybody says, every time you run a flash update on a game system, or anything for that matter, you are running a risk of bricking it and not being able to use your device. And anybody that tells you otherwise does not know what they're talking about. I work in IT, okay? I see it. Not real often, by the way. It's a lot less common than it used to be, but it still does happen, and you are still definitely taking the risk. If this thing accidentally shuts off in the middle of an update, it's dead. Okay, so what happens with this guy? Well, this is handled differently. If you look at this internal card right here, and external card, this internal card holds the operating system for this game device. So when I want to run an update, I just flash this card. If it goes wrong, I flash it again. If something's wrong with the card, I replace the card with a new one. Sometimes I just flash a new one, try it out, and then switch it back. There is almost no danger in doing that because you can always just replace the card. So therefore, this was actually designed to do this, and it's safer, and there's less likelihood of an accident happening. And I love these devices, and I don't want them dead. And of course, the final thing is that on this game system, you can play with a friend at the same time. Of course, you could probably do it wirelessly with this one if your friend has another Vita, but you can just plug in a controller here and have a second player play with you. I think that's pretty darn cool. It's not a major thing because a lot of the time you're playing a handheld alone, but the ability to add a friend is a plus. And that's about it with my reasons for using one of these handheld devices over using a PlayStation. Again, I really don't want anyone to take this as a dig on emulating on the PlayStation, Vita, or the PSP. I love both those devices. I think they're both great. It's just that I get asked all the time, why do you do this when you have both these devices? And the answer is basically, I like to keep these pristine and in their factory condition. I don't really like messing with them because there is a slight risk of destroying them, and these do it without the risk, and I do find them fun to monkey around with. Anyway, I really appreciate watching this video. If it's helped you at all or given you any answers, please do me a big favor. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and ring that bell thing. And I'll see you in a couple days. Bye!